Hi, I often ask if I'll help someone redesign their flat and whether I do it, and I do because I think it's quite an interesting thing to do. There are some complications with flats because you've got other owners above, below, to the side, um, or all of those things, and that invokes party wall matters, which can be quite complicated but not insurmountable. This flat is in a lovely location by the sea. There are some sea views from some of the rooms, and I think when you look at the floor plan, you see that actually the bedrooms upstairs are all a good size, nice bathrooms, ensuite on this one and one off the hallway effectively for the top floor. So it's a three-floor flat, 75 square meters, a good size. On the ground floor, the layout works pretty well, but I think one issue is that you have to walk through the lounge to get to the kitchen, which means furnishing the kitchen, um, sorry, furnishing the lounge involves creating a corridor through it, which always kind of limits how you can use a room. And so I think there's an opportunity to replan that with a bit of structural work to actually get a better layout out of it. There's a little courtyard garden here that is east facing, so it gets morning sun. And the flat's pretty light, but you could improve, for a flat that's got a lounge down at ground level. But you could improve things, I think, by having a look at this wall here. And then, could you make a three-bed flat out of it? Would be another option. Is this room big enough? And at 4.1 by 3.2, nearly, or 3.8, sorry, there probably is an option to put a partition down here if you wanted sort of two kids' bedrooms. So we'll have a look at that in the design process. So we'll start at ground floor level. This flat has a courtyard that's around about this kind of size. It's probably around about here, relatively to the flat, and it's got sort of 5-6 foot high walls around it, so it's quite private. And the sun in the morning comes in here. The flat suffers from needing to furnish it so you can get through to the kitchen here. So I think a better route would be to walk along this side of the room so that you could furnish this side of the room as a space where you don't walk through. That means really blocking up this opening here and opening up this opening, and I think there's an opportunity to just bring a bit more light in and more access to the garden by creating a set of doors across here that will open out onto the courtyard and make the flat feel bigger, because it'll feel like the courtyard is sort of part of the living space. So that would look something like this as a sort of first version. I think there are two versions. This is the least disruptive version. That window's actually, I think, reality a little bit smaller than that. So I would block up this wall here, keep the chimney, because it runs up through the flats above. So that there's just no option to get rid of it, really, no sensible sort of option. But open up that wall, so remove that wall, and then widen. These are French doors that actually are drawn in the wrong place on this plan. So in reality, I think that window's a little bit smaller, and the doors are more sort of at this end here and open out onto the garden. So the garden is the courtyard garden, something like probably that. So we kept that wall. There's a little window in the toilet there, and there's a boiler just here. So I think we'd ideally knock out that whole wall in there and put a set of doors, maybe bifolds or French doors that all opened out to here. That would mean the kitchen can move from this side of the room to the back of the room. So you'd end up with a sort of U-shaped kitchen here. And you could put the sink here, so it's not the existing sink is here, so it's not too far to run. And then the stove could be here. Means you can have your fridge tucked round the back, just here. And then I think there'd be room then for a small table and chairs in that corner. And you've got from here, from the kitchen, then you've got views of the garden, and from the living room you've got views of the garden. You could put the TV in here, and then you can have a sofa. You could have an L-shaped sofa really through here probably. There's some bookshelves in here. You could have an armchair just here, some sort of sideboard perhaps here or here. And then the toilet could all stay the same. And obviously the stairs and then the stair cupboard, that would all remain as it is. And then the route for circulation is round there, and the living room itself is a sort of self-contained space that doesn't need anyone to walk through it. And so you gain a better circulation, so you can furnish the room better. And you get more access to the garden. Now, this structure would need agreement with flats above and party walls and what have you. So I think that you could do a shorter version where you keep a chunk of wall there, turn that window into a door, and have a slightly wider set of French doors. So there's sort of there's a cut down version of it. The more disruptive version would be to move the downstairs loo as well, so that when you came in the front door, you truly went across the front, because at the moment you're coming into the back at the middle of the room where the sofa wants to be, and then going down and round. So if we thought about how that might work, you'd obviously keep the front door where it is, keep the stair where it is, so it goes up that way to the 2 floors above. But when you come in the front door, I would turn the door so it opens the other way, and then go round that way and put the toilet sort of partly under the stairs. I think you could relocate the boiler into a cupboard here, so it's not a lot of different to where it currently is. And what would be ahead of you would be the toilet in there, so the toilet would just move to that location, or you could put the door on the end, so the toilet would be here. Equally, the door could be that way. Then the living room door opens into the hallway and opens that way. You've got a window in your hallway as well, which will make it feel a bit lighter. And then you come through here and just do the same layout. All of that stuff. But then because now you're going to walk to the kitchen down this way. Let's get rid of this one. I'll trace off the courtyard first. So the route to the kitchen is this orange dotted line, the route in the front door. You do that round there and then into here. So you're going to have your little dining table here. You've got your view of the garden and your glass doors here, window there, TV there, shelves there, and then you've got a lot more options, I think, as to how you furnish it. You could even have a sofa, as long as you kept space there. You could have a sofa there, and you could have a sofa there. And you can have a sideboard here. Or you could do an L-shaped sofa. You've got basically a room that you can do a lot more with, I think, because circulation is out of the main living space and runs along that glazed side. So I think those are 2 good options for the first floor. Obviously, the second one's more disruptive because you're moving the toilet. The first one, I think, is simpler, but the second one does fix this problem of a door entering into the middle of the room when really you want to enter down on this side. Then I think the other thing to look at is, could you get 3 bedrooms? Because this top bedroom is quite small, and if, for instance, you had 2 young children and you wanted to give them a room each, You would need planning for it, but I can't see why. There are windows looking to the side, so you could apply for planning for a window there. You'd block up that bathroom and you'd have to make the door go that way. And then let's keep that wall as it is. There's a good window. Well, it's not really on that level, it's on the floor above with a sort of a sea view. And then you basically just divide that room in two. It's about 4 meters, 4.2, so you could put 2.1 in there, and you'd have to do a sort of funny thing with the door. So you could have a door to that room there, and you could have a door all that. I think you just want an angled door into this room there. Then you've got enough room to put a bed. Single bed could fit here with a bedside, I think. That's right. You've got room for a chest of drawers here and a little desk here probably, and then same here really, a bed. This room's a little bit bigger. Chest of drawers, maybe a desk here, something here, something here. And they're not huge rooms, but actually would help if I drew it on the camera. So that's one bed. That's the other bed. And you've got 2 single rooms just by playing. It's just bit of detail around how those doors might work. But the stair arrives there and then goes up to the top floor that way. I think that would be okay, actually. If you wanted just 2 small single rooms, you could get a 3-bed. I think you could get a 3-bed flat out of it. Whether it adds any values, probably, I suspect it doesn't really. But as terms of usability, if that's what one wanted to do, then I think you could achieve that. And you've got a nice bedroom up the top there, and by opening up that space as either of one of these options, I think that would improve the flat.